Ukraine is far more important than the American people are. Pencil neck is about to get screwed, and Donald Trump tells us what he's going to do about the pillagers and all the looters. Stay tuned, everybody. Hey, for the best meat you have ever eaten, check out samsbutchershop.com. Go and shop around. When you go to checkout, enter the promo code Triple T for a 5% discount. Check it out. Hello, everybody. Trailer Trash Tim. How's your mama and them? Thank you so much for joining me here on this Saturday. I am coming to you from my camper, trailer number 2. Trailer Trash Tim. I got 3 trailers. I live in a mobile home. I'll have this camper that I'll live in sometimes, and when I'm on the road. And, of course, I got my cargo trailer. Well, you know that story. But a lot of stuff going on. Let's try and get to it right now. Ukraine is more important than America, specifically the citizens of Ukraine. Sorry, I bumped my camera. The citizens of Ukraine are more important than American citizens, according to our leadership inside the Beltway. This article appeared yesterday in Breitbart, and it states that the House passes more Ukraine aid, because never can get enough, right? More Ukraine aid with help from these Republicans, good old Republicans. You know, they're just worthless. They're absolutely worthless. American taxpayers will provide an additional $300 million for Ukraine's war effort if a bill passed late Thursday night by the House becomes law, and of course it will. Nobody's going to veto this. The bill passed 311 to 117. After Speaker McCarthy stripped the funding from a Pentagon spending bill in favor of a standalone vote. So they put this vote to the side. It was a standalone vote. They were just voting up and down whether or not we're going to give $300 million more to Ukraine. You know, $300 million here, $1 billion there, $1 billion there. It's only money, right? I mean, all we got to do is print it. But this thing passed with, overwhelmingly passed, over 300 votes, and of course the point is that dozens and dozens of Republicans, I've got the list here, I won't read it all, of course voted, yeah, let's send $300 million. But wait, aren't we $32 trillion in debt? Well, let's just don't talk about that right now. Determining how much more, if any, Congress should send to Ukraine on top of the $113 billion it's already approved has been among the most significant challenges for Congress as it works to fund the government for the past the looming September 30th deadline. We're right on the cusp of the government shutdown. It's like Christmas for Triple T. I can't wait. I'm so excited for the government to shut down. It's wonderful. It's like Christmas Eve around here. I can't wait. The bad news is, of course, while it probably will happen at this point, it probably won't last long. It never does. The funds in Thursday's legislation are intended to purchase weapons and provide training for Ukrainian soldiers. And the story goes on and on and on. You know, we had Zelensky come to Washington last week. He did his little tour. And he goes to Washington, and he goes to Canada, and he goes to Poland in his little Che Guevara outfit, and people are just falling all over themselves to give him more money. The trip for him, of course, was a bit of a disaster. If you remember, we talked the other day about what happened in Canada, and you can go watch that video. It was an absolute disaster. It was also not a mistake, and Justin Trudeau, of course, who should be run out of the country on a rail for allowing that to happen. They had a NAZI honored in Parliament, and and so of course the Speaker took it in the neck instead of Trudeau. It was just an absolute disaster, and rightly so. It should have been a disaster. And then of course Zelensky got the cold shoulder from Poland on his way back to Kiev. But anyway, here's a big list of Republicans who said, yeah, let's send more money to Ukraine. And among the people on that list are the eye patch guy, Dan Crenshaw from Texas, who's a total bust. I thought he might actually be decent when they first put him in there, but he's just another neocon. John James of Michigan. There's at least 3 Congress congressmen from Alabama, including mine, Mike Rogers, who's a joke, and they all voted for the extra funding for Ukraine. $300 million is not a little bit of money. It's a tidy sum. Of course, it pales in comparison to the over $113 billion we've already sent. But of course, the point of the matter is this. Obviously, Ukraine is more important than America. My question is this. How much fence could you build on the Rio Grande River with $300 million? Huh? How much could you build? How many things could we do with $300 million? Could we expend any effort, by the way, Speaker McCarthy, for doing something to get the political prisoners, the J6 prisoners, out of the cages that they're in Washington, D.C.? I'm just wondering, could we do anything for them? Could we send maybe their families $300 million? It just goes on and on and on. All right, let me move on. Pencil Neck Geek is in trouble. Who is Pencil Neck Geek, Triple T? The Pencil Neck Geek is Adam Schiff, a congressman from California who is dying to become the senator to replace Di-Fi, who just died, of course, a couple of days ago. Now, he was already running for Senate. I don't know if it was official or not, but it was fairly well understood. He was running for the Senate seat in California. I believe it was official. I believe he'd already declared. But, of course, as you know, Di-Fi died, and Gavin Newsom, the governor of California and possible presidential candidate, Pencil Neck is vying for the seat, but Gavin Newsom has already announced that in the event that he had to fill that seat with someone to complete Di-Fi's uncompleted term, he has already stated that he is going to appoint a black woman to fill the remainder of Di-Fi's term. Now, Pencil Neck is a lot of things, but a black woman he ain't. Now, if you're wondering why I call Adam Schiff Pencil Neck, just look at a photo of him and you'll understand. He's a smarmy hypocrite who's always talking about, things like campaign reform, not campaign reform, but what is he? Oh, election reform and all this kind of jazz. I could get into that, but I won't waste your time. But I did a little study about California demographics broken down by racial categories. Now listen to this. According to the 2020 census, California is 34% white or Caucasian. It is 5% black. It is 1.5% Native American. It is 16% Asian. So the vast majority, or not the vast majority, but the majority of Californians are white people. Now, I don't mean to make a big deal out of racial demographics here, but I'm not the one who started this. Gavin Newsom is. Gavin Newsom says if I've got to appoint somebody to that seat, it's going to be a black woman. Well, the question that I have is simply this. Racially speaking, is a black woman in the Senate a proper representation of the racial makeup of California? I mean, if you just want to go by terms of race, should it not be a white person? Because they make up the majority of the racial demographic in California, Governor Newsom. Now, I'm not trying to get racial here, but you're the one who brought this up. You're the one who said, I'm going to appoint a black woman to the Senate. Well, why would that be the case when blacks make up only 5.7% of the population? How does that make any sense, Governor? Or is this just more symbolism over substance? The point of the matter is, since Pencil Neck is not a black woman, as far as I know, of course, that could be the solution. He could identify as a black woman, and then he's golden, because, of course, in the great nation of America, you can be anything you want to be anymore, right? I could be a black woman. I could be a Hispanic teenager. I mean, I could be whatever I want. and you can't say anything about it. So that just doesn't make sense because Pencil Neck is not a black woman, so he's pretty much screwed. I mean, he's got to be hopping mad right now because Newsom is about to screw him over and derail his plans to be a senator. Now, he can still run, of course, but if he still runs, he's in all likelihood going to be running against an incumbent senator who is a black woman. So good luck with that, Pencil Neck. All right, let's move on here. Dana Perino. Do you know who Dana Perino is? Dana Perino is a government lifer. She was a press secretary for George Bush Jr. What was he, 43? Anyway, I don't know. I think it was 43. Papa was 41 he might have been 44. I'm not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Dana Perino, I think she's still with Fox News. She's just up there. She's a swamp creature inside the Beltway. She was at a gala recently at the Clinton Global Initiative. The Clinton Global Initiative had a gala where the arts and croissant and the wine tasters, the wine and cheese crowd were. Gee, I guess they were raising money. Imagine that. Well, Dana Perino was given the task. Well, I'll get to the why in a moment. She was given the task of introducing the featured speaker for the event, and who else would it be, of course, except the Hillster? Well, it was Dana Perino's job to introduce Hillary Clinton to speak at this event. And Dana Perino, good, loyal Republican that she is, introduced Hillary thusly. She said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Hillary Clinton." Now, if Dana Perino is a good and loyal Republican, why on earth, A, would she be there? B, why on earth would she introduce this woman, Hillary Clinton, as the amazing Hillary Clinton? Well, of course, that's a rhetorical question. It's because she's a loyal Republican. That's why. Of course, this just is an illustration of the fact that what we have in the United States is a uniparty. Overwhelmingly, it is a uniparty. They're interchangeable pieces. They are incestuous. These people inside the Beltway protect their own. They're all friends, with extremely rare exception. The exceptions possibly being Rand Paul, Senator of Kentucky, Thomas Massey, Congressman of Kentucky, and maybe a few more. But I would say overwhelmingly, probably well over 90%, all we have is a uniparty, folks. I mean, come on, when you got John Cornyn of Texas bending over backwards to accommodate whatever the Democrats want to do. I gave an example of that the other day. It's a uniparty. I mean, I just gave you an example. Over 300 people in Congress approved the aid for Ukraine. Nothing to say for America, and over 100 of them are Republicans. I don't know the exact number, but it's well over 100 people. I've got the list. In the GOP, I mean, with friends like this, who needs enemies, right? How are the Democrats our opposition when the Republicans vote right along with them? Dana Perino should be ashamed of herself, but this is just par for the course in Washington. Why on earth have you got any business, if you've got an R by your name, attending anything at the Clinton Global Initiative? Well, she just wants to be seen. She's power hungry like the rest of them. It's the uniparty. What can I tell you? All right, look at this. According to the CDC, so take it for whatever it's worth, but I found this graphic interesting. I wish I could display it, but I hadn't learned how to do that yet. But this is a graphic that has to do with a comparison between U.S. birth rates and illegal alien border encounters. Now get this. In the year 2010, in the United States, according to the CDC, we had about 4 million births in the United States. 4 million newly minted Americans, right? In the year 2010, comparatively, we had just about 500,000 illegal alien border encounters. You got that? In 2010, 4 million births in the United States, 500,000 illegal border encounters. Now run it forward to this current year, 2023. We're still in that year. In the year 2023, live births, as opposed to a dead birth, births in the United States were just under 3.5 million. So we're declining in live births. However, illegal alien border encounters were just under 3 million. So we went from 500,000 illegal alien border encounters in 2010 to this year, it is just under 3 million. You got this? 2023, 3.5 million live births in the United States. Just under that, 3 million illegal alien border encounters. Can you believe that? In other words, we've got almost as many illegal alien criminals coming across the border of the United States as we do Americans being born. Let me ask you a question. In any logical sense of the word, in any sane universe, is this sustainable for any nation? Folks, multiculturalism does not work. If you are a Serbian, you need to be a Serbian with all the cultural ramifications, religious ramifications of being a Serb. You should be a thoroughbred in your nation. You should be definable easily by your nation. I know Greeks when I see them. I know Poles when I see them. I know Italians when I see them. I don't know Americans when I see them because we are so diverse and not in a good way. Hell, anybody can be an American now. Just come on across the border illegally and we'll make you an American. We have lost our country. There is no discernible American culture any longer. Back in the day when we had more sanity in the nation and we had legal immigration and we had Italians immigrating, Poles immigrating, Russians immigrating, Greeks immigrating, Irish immigrating, they were in their own communities and they established communities according to their culture. And the thing about it was they came to America because they wanted to be Americans. They wanted the freedom that we offered in America back in the day. That's no longer the case any longer. Now people are pouring across the border illegally, bringing their agendas with them and their mindsets with them, their politics with them, and they mean harm to us. And we're laying out the red carpet for them. This is a disturbing graph to look at. It is a disturbing trend when you have almost as many illegal aliens pouring across your border as you do Americans being born. This is not sustainable, ladies and gentlemen. And we all know it. There's something I want to say about, I want to backtrack to Ukraine being more important than the United States. And I should have said this earlier, but it ties in with the border crisis that we have right now. You know, some people have been wondering, I've wondered to some degree, how on earth can the occupant of the White House justify what is happening at the border? I mean, is he even aware of what's going on? Oh, he's aware. He knows what's going on. By any metric you can imagine, by any measurement you can imagine, the border crisis is a complete and utter disaster. And Joe Biden is a complete and utter failure when it comes to the border crisis. But I want to let you in on a little secret. It's obvious for all to see. In Biden's world, it isn't a crisis. Biden's press secretary, Jean-Pierre, she states recently, and every time the subject is brought up, that the border is secure and President Biden has a handle on this. It's the most successful in history, and all this BS that she's always spewing. Well, I finally figured it out, and it was always right there in front of me the whole time. It is a success for Joe Biden. You know why? Because it is by design. This is what he wants. He wants to change America fundamentally. He wants these illegals pouring across our borders. You know why? Because they're votes. They're votes to keep communists like him in office. They are votes to ensure that the Communist Party takes control in America and, by God, stays in control. So in Biden's world, what's happening at the border is a success, a rousing success. You go, Joe Biden. Way to go in destroying America. Just by design. Let me close with this. Donald Trump spoke, I think it was yesterday. He was in California. Why on earth he would bother going to California, I don't know, but it made for a great photo op. But he was giving a speech, and in his speech he addressed the chronic problem we have of looting and pillaging in American retail outlets, where criminals will go into these stores, gangs will go into these stores and just pillage and ravage these stores and walk out with little to no retribution. But this is what Donald Trump said in his speech yesterday, and it made me stand and cheer. Listen to this. He said, quote, "We will immediately stop the pillaging and theft. Very simply, if you rob a store, you can fully expect to be shot as you're leaving that store." Bravo, Donald Trump. I don't know if this is just rhetoric or not, but this is the solution. How do you stop robbing and looting and pillaging in a store? You stop it with these, folks. That's how you stop it. It's as simple as that. That's how you stop it. Now, there are some other practical things that huge retail merchants that are having such a problem with shrink or theft, such as Target, this woke company, I almost want to say they get what they deserve after their merchandising to young children, all the transsexual bullshit and all that. But I've got a hint for the Targets and the Walmarts of the world. All you got to do to stop this nonsense is do what Costco does. Make everybody a member, have a membership card, have one exit, make everybody show a receipt upon exit before they leave. You'd cut your problems at least in half. But Trump's got the solution. If it's Trailer Trash Tim Merchandise Incorporated, by George, if you come to loot and pillage my store, you're going to meet my Hesse. You're going to say hello to my little friend. That's the solution, folks. Right there. It's as simple as that. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please like this video down below. Give me the old thumbs up if you have not subscribed to the Trailer Trash Tim channel. As long as you're not an illegal alien, you are a legal resident of your country. As long as you are no wearer of face masks, you are more than welcome to subscribe to this channel and join our community. Thank you so much for joining. Give me your comments down below. Tell me what you think about everything I talked about today. Go Braves! Hey, man, we got home field advantage throughout the playoffs. This is Trailer Trash Tim. Thank you for joining me, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow.